In this second episode of Catching Ancient Photons, we are going to capture Messier 16, otherwise known as the Eagle Nebula, with its famous pillars of creation. Let's check with the time machine to see how old the photons are that are coming from this target. Amazing! 7,000 light years. So the photons of light that we see coming from this nebula left it 7,000 years ago. Those photons are pretty ancient based on the human lifetime. So what was happening on Earth at that time? Around 7,000 years ago, humans were transitioning from a nomadic lifestyle to settled farming communities. Mesopotamia and Egypt were witnessing the rise of civilizations, while the Indus Valley civilization was thriving. People were entering the Bronze Age, crafting tools and weapons with bronze. Pottery making and early artwork were flourishing, reflecting the cultural expressions of the time. Ancient humans were constructing unbelievable structures like Stonehenge in England. These massive stone monuments and burial sites give us a glimpse into the ancient people's architectural prowess and their belief systems. It was a period of significant transformation and progress, and that was all happening when these photons of light that we see actually left the Eagle Nebula. The Eagle Nebula, located 7,000 light years away, is a cosmic masterpiece. The pillars of creation steal the spotlight with their colossal columns of gas and dust. The Hubble telescope made this unique nebular formation famous with its iconic image, released to the world in 1995. Within these towering structures, new stars are born. Gravity causes the collapse of gas and dust, igniting the birth of brilliant stars. These pillars face constant change. Intense radiation and stellar winds sculpt them into breathtaking shapes. In 2007, astronomers discovered evidence that a supernova explosion about 6,000 years ago occurred in the area and may have destroyed the pillars. Of course, we won't know for sure for another 1,000 years, while we wait for the ancient photons from that event to reach us. So for now, we can still capture its beauty. The Eagle Nebula and its pillars of creation showcase the complexity and evolution of our universe and is a favorite target of astrophotographers like us. So I've made a few changes to the rig recently. I went ahead and I upgraded to an ASI 2600mm main camera. It's an APS-C size sensor. So definitely a lot more imaging power there, just generally all across the board. And I moved the ASI 1600 up to the guide scope. Because I wasn't getting enough field of view with the other little 120 MMS camera. So this helps a whole lot. I can get a whole lot of stars and the tracking seems to be greatly improved. So got the new 2600 and moved the 1600 to the finder scope. Okay, so coming into AstroPixel Processor to do all the processing on this image, I must admit this one was a little bit of a challenge to actually process. A lot of tweaking around with parameters and stuff. So I've done this already, and I just kind of want to review with you what I've actually done. So AstroPixel Processor basically did all the stacking already. I pulled in all the images and all the flats and the darks and such, and it generated the three main images. And since it's narrowband, it's hydrogen alpha, it's oxygen 3, and it's sulfur 2. So let's look at these individual images because they're really interesting. So as with most emission nebula, hydrogen alpha contains the most signal. As you can see here, that's just a ton of signal, and but a lot of great structure in the pillars here. This is going to end up being really, really gorgeous, I think, when I finally get it all done here. So this is H alpha, tons of data here, lots of bright nebula. So then we can have a look at oxygen 3. And this one is a little bit more muted. You can see a little bit more structure in the pillars. And it doesn't go out as far as the H alpha did, but still a lot of nice structure, some shadows in here, which will bring a lot to the image, I think. And lastly, we have the sulfur 2, which I think is the most interesting frame of the three, because there's tremendous detail in here. And all this other stuff is gone. So the fact that there's so much contrast here is really, really going to help in the image. So so that's the main three images that we're working with. You may notice I have a little bit of vignetting around here to the end. Earlier I mentioned that I did upgrade to the ASI 2600mm Pro, which is the basically larger format, the big brother to the 1600 mm. So I'm using that, but something I didn't realize is because of the new large sensor, it doesn't work with my filter wheel and filters, which are just the 1.25" filters. So I am going to have to buy a 2-inch filter wheel and a new set of filters. So that's going to be pricey. I'm sure that's going to be north of about $1,000. So should be fun, but that's what you learn when you go through the process of using some of this great new equipment that's out now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some combining of the different colors there. So let me get the different files, and we'll do hydrogen and oxygen at the same time. I recently learned that AstroPixel Processor will actually separate them for you, so you don't have to do them one at a time as I've been doing. So one more, we need to get the sulfur, and it's right here. Okay, sulfur, great. So now I always pick add scale because it brings out the colors the most. So this is kind of interesting. AstroPixel Processor comes with a bunch of different pre-settings. It's the color mixer. So you can pick these. So I'm going to start off with the basic one, which is called Hubble 1. And so I'm going to hit new formula, put the actual values down into the mixers, and I do calculate. And there we go. So this is kind of like the classic color mix that you get with the basic Hubble. Everything's very green. All the hydrogen is primarily green, as you can see here. There are some nice color contrasts, and you can see a little bit of blue in the background, and you get these ungodly purple stars. So I don't use show 1 very often. So let's go ahead and try show 2. And show is the basically sodium, hydrogen, oxygen. Put that formula in there and then recalculate. So this is going to be Hubble 2. And this one's getting a little bit better. The stars are definitely a little bit
more true to form. There's still some purple in there, but I don't know that I'm going to get rid of it. The colors are basically a higher contrast than what we saw before, so it was good. The image is generally kind of dark, except for right here in the middle, but that's Hubble 2. Let's move on to Hubble 3. And now we're really starting to get someplace. We've got some really nice color contrast here, with the blue background starting to give a three-dimensional look. It's still kind of flat. The last one is Hubble 4, and it's the one that I really prefer, because the image brightens up significantly. This one seems to take a long time to calculate. Here we go. Yep, this is definitely the one I want. Great signal, great contrast. Even some of the outer nebulas here, and I think this is definitely going to be the way that I'm going to go. You can see that this is basically the alignment of all the different color frames. So there's basically 3 of them here, and when you put them all together, you get this great color background. So I took this image, and as usual, I ran it through Aperture, which is my photo editor, really, for the most part nowadays. Anyway, I'm not going to show you the results of that, because that's basically what we're going to see in the reveal in the next section. So this was the processing. Really thrilled with this image, and you'll see what the final image looks like right now.
So here's the final result of my capture of M16, the Eagle Nebula, and the Pillars of Creation. This is 215 minutes total integration time, which is just over 3.5 hours. These captured photons were 7,000 years old when they hit the sensor of my camera. See you next time on Catching Ancient Photons.